Please put your hands together for Jenny Brown.
So I was in my front yard doing a little light gardening, and I was waiting for this dude that I'd made a date with on Craigslist to show up. Yeah, Craigslist. Yeah. So we talked for about 45 minutes the night before, and we'd finally decided on that we were going to meet at my house, and we were going to drink some wine, and we were going to see if our kissing styles were compatible. Now, I knew that I was breaking all of the social rules about meeting in public on a first date, and frankly, I was also breaking my personal rule, which is I would never date a guy unless I knew I could take him in a fight. And, you know, safety first. And I had seen pictures of this guy. He was a construction worker, and I knew there was no way I could take him in a fight. But life had been strange lately, and I had already been doing several things out of character, and I felt super comfortable with him. So I thought, you know what? It's going to be cool. It's going to be totally cool. So right on time, he bounds up the steps, and he stands there like this, ready for inspection, right? Well, he had no flaws. This guy was gorgeous. I mean, I'm sorry, he was prototypically gorgeous. He was about 6'4", and when you're 6 feet, it's a treat, right? He had gorgeous dark skin, and he was solid muscle. And he stood there, and I just thought, mama-like, right? I noticed something weird, though. He wasn't carrying a bottle of wine. And I thought, okay. Well, you know what? I've been in a bit of a brain fog lately. Maybe it wasn't specified that he was bringing the wine. I've got beer. It's totally cool. I'm not going to worry about it. So then, you know, we're chatting, we're liking, and I thought I'm going to go in for a big hug. And I just bury my face in his neck, and I take a big whiff. And he smells like a construction worker who's been working for 8 hours solid. Kind of ripe. And I thought, well, that's an interesting choice. Maybe he doesn't plan on getting super close tonight. Okay. So then I noticed something else weird about him, which is that he was not moving his mouth very much. And he had never smiled at me. And I got a flash of intuition, and I said, hey, did you just recently lose a tooth? And he said, yes. And that's when he told me that in his spare time, he was a cagefighter. And he had just had a tooth knocked out when somebody had punched his own fist into his face. And I said, well, first of all, that is totally badass. And second of all, I'd rather just have you relax and laugh and smile at me. I don't care if you look a little dorky, it's fine. And so he grinned, and he was super cute. So I invited him into my house and gave him a beer, and I had smoked a little weed, so I was just kind of sipping, waiting to see, you know, what the vibe is. And, you know, we're chatting, and I was like, a little wary. There's some chemistry, but I was thinking, you know, no wine, no shower, Cagefighter. What have I done? And then we finally kiss. And he's a good kisser. But suddenly he's all over me. He's yanking at my clothes. And he said, God, I want to just fuck you so bad. And the passion was just completely out of proportion to the reality of the moment. And I said, hold up. I said, this is fast, and we haven't even talked about safe sex. We haven't even talked about condoms. By the way, did you bring any? He hadn't, which I thought was another odd choice for someone who wants to get laid by a stranger. So I'm a little freaked at this point. I just don't understand this. This seems opposite to everything I've learned about having sex. I don't want to get a little distance. So I go into the kitchen to get a little beer and just get a little physical space, catch my breath, and he follows me into the kitchen. And he's right behind me. And I think, okay, maybe we're going to have a little of that kitchen loving, that rubbing up and making out, and it's going to be all cool. But no, he pulls up my skirt, yanks down my panties, and tries to bend me over the counter. So now I'm freaked at about level 6, right? I don't want him to know I'm freaked, so I make a joke out of it. I slap his hands away like it's just a game, and I get some beers, and I turn around, and he's standing in the doorway between the kitchen and the living room, and he's standing there like this, and all I see is just slabs of muscles. And he says, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go over there, and I'm going to fuck you without a condom. And I said, don't I get a say? And he's taken aback. And I start bawling. And he freaks out. And he says, shh, baby, just calm down, baby. Just, babe, please don't cry. Please don't cry. And he leads me to a chair, and he says, I just want you to have a good time. And then I yell, then help me feel safe. Crying. Now pause for a moment. I want to share with you my emotional state at this time. I said life had been a little strange lately. I'd been doing things out of character. 6 days before this date, my older brother, Alan, had suddenly and unexpectedly died. I was in a bit of a fog, and I was not wanting to feel what I was feeling. I didn't want to feel the confusion. I didn't want to feel grief. I didn't want to feel regret and pain. I just wanted to escape. As I'm sitting in this chair across from this stranger, I'm thinking, well, now I need an escape from my escape. I hadn't told anyone what I was doing. No one knew he was there. I didn't want to be called out for not dealing with my grief. So we're back in the present moment, and I remember looking across at my door to my apartment and just wanting to get up and walk over to the door and unlock it and walk out. It was just right there. But it may as well have been on Mars. It never occurred to me to say, I don't want to do this. I want you to go. Just never even entered my mind. From the beginning, I felt his size and his strength just took that off the table. So then he looks at his watch. What a dick, right? What a dick. I don't know whether to be offended or hopeful, right? I say, do you have to go? And he says, no, I'm just wondering what we're doing here. And I said, well, I thought that you were going to come over and we were going to drink wine and we were going to make out. I mean, you're here with a lovely woman who's giving you beer. What is the problem? And I go, why am I selling myself to this guy? What? Well, because I want him to still like me. If he likes me, he won't get violent. And also, there's this part of me that thinks he could still be cool. This could still be okay. So here's where I don't know, it was the beer, the weed, the adrenaline. I have no idea how I got from the chair to the couch. I'm on the couch with him. And it's just more of the same. It's just tearing at the clothes. It's just, I want you, baby. I want you, baby. Just the same. And I'm getting very tired and very scared and just, I'm exhausted. And he kneels in front of me, and he's got this pleading look on his face, and he says, could I just lick your pussy? Now, we know there's no just here, right? I know what this leads to, but I don't feel like I've ever had a choice, not without risking violence. Could I have gotten up? I don't know, I'm never gonna know. So I say, fine. He gets down on the floor, he peels down my underpants, gets between my legs, slurp, slurp, lick, stands up, opens his pants, pulls out his dick, says, I'm sorry, baby, like he's gonna shove it in me. I said, whoa, condom. It's inevitable now, I just wanna get it over with. So I get up, and I go and get a condom, and I put it on him, because I wanna know it's there, right? And I turn around for doggy style, because I wanna have my private thoughts. So if this is going to happen, I'll be damned if I'm going to pretend that I'm enjoying it. I don't want to see your face. I just want to have my private thoughts. So he's doing it from behind, and I'm on the couch, and my mantle is above me, and there's a picture of my brother. And it's taken just a few weeks before he died. And he's looking right out at the camera. And I'm thinking about my brother, and I'm thinking about this ill-conceived plan to avoid thinking about my brother. And I just realized this is the lowest moment I've ever had. This is it. And then I think, okay, well, that's some clarity. This is it, the lowest moment. So now you just got to get out of this safe. So he's done, spurt. I sort of collapsed. He says, now he wants to have the pillow talk because that's the best part, he says. I said, I need a moment. Oh, she needs a moment, he announces to the world. He's upset. And I can see my clothes right here. And you ever seen a cat when a cat's just about to knock over that last glass of beer you have before payday? So they look over here, but that's how I got my clothes on. Just very sneakily, quietly got my clothes on. And he looked at me and he said, do you want to see me again? And as I spit him, I just very slowly shook my head, no. And that was the scariest part of the whole thing, because what is he going to do now? I've rejected him. And he says, what? I finally meet someone I'm attracted to, and she doesn't want to see me again. And I said, this didn't work for me. It's just, this is too fast. This didn't work for me. And he gets mad, and he jumps up, and he starts yanking on his clothes. And I think, okay. I walk over to the counter where I have some stools right by the door. I'm sitting as close to the door as I possibly can, and I'm just being very quiet. And he comes over to the door by me, and he says, do you want to have sex again? Last chance. And I said, was that really good for you? And he looks enraged, and he says, you're not ready for urban black. And I'm thinking, who's this urban black character? And fuck you for being so interesting. Because seriously, there's nothing I love more than a spirited debate. And I was sorely tempted to dive in at that moment. Because I was not buying what he is selling about how urban black men sexually relate to women. I mean, I'm not super experienced, but I've been around the block a few times. And I really wanted to debate, and I said, no, I can't. It's almost over. The door is right there. So I dig a hole, and I bury my dignity one more time, and I look at him, and I say, I guess you're right. And then he smiles at me, and he says, hug? And then I think, well, why the hell not? So I let him give me a hug, and he leans in and he whispers in my ear, you're perfect. Don't change. And he goes out the door, and I shut it and I lock it, and I turn around, boom, lock eyes with that photo of my brother. And I think about how I tried so hard to escape from that moment, from where I am right now again. And I think about grief and loss, and how the only way out is just straight down the middle of it. And so I stare at my brother, and my brother stares back. Thank you.